Well, I'm under the impression we're live, but I don't hear any music.
I didn't know. I looked up and see a timer going. I was like, let's do this.
We got the live band here. You can't see them on camera.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is pre-recorded music, right?
I feel like I might be able to Morock it up a little bit for us if you really wanted me to, like when we sit here.
Ooh.
See?
Ooh. I love that.
You guys know I want to start singing it, dude.
It's Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day. Thanks for bringing us back to planet Earth there, campers. And everybody, let's let them know what they're listening to. MLO! And you are tuning in to the live broadcast of this podcast. We have a special edition today, Veterans Day, as CK said, and we're going to go through the benefits of the VA loan and additional bonus coverage, benefits outside of real estate and mortgage that you might not be aware of. So this is going to be very, very impactful, not only for our service members, but also industry professionals, so we can continue to grow and support our veterans.
That's
right, Casey?
Absolutely. And being a vet myself, I am super pumped because we have a super special guest today, guys, on the show, joining in from a little behind the scenes, if you'd say, right?
Oh, yeah. Cuddy.
And who'd that be?
Mr. Joshua Billups, producer Billups.
There he is.
We're so proud. He's a big part of our team, as everyone here knows. You guys might not, but we really appreciate it. And we put that little special producer cam together so we could have Josh a part of the show. I like that.
Yeah, producer Cam, and Josh, an Army veteran and also an Iraqi and Afghanistan war veteran. So we appreciate his service as well. So thank you, Josh.
Thank you for your service, and thank you, Casey.
Yeah, guys. I just in the Navy. I'm out there floating around.
In the Navy.
No, I loved it. It was the best thing I could have ever done, honestly. And if anyone's out there listening that it doesn't know maybe what they're doing in life or is lost, let's just say, think about the military. It can change your life for the best. And the benefits that go along with it can then set you up for further success. So it's really cool. And we're going to get into that today.
Well, and I know it's like halfway through the day on Veterans Day, but I'm curious, not only Josh, but Casey. So how many people say, like, thank you for your service? Like, is that annoying, or do people like to hear that? Because I always say it, but what would it from a veteran? Is it awkward, or you just like, you're welcome?
I personally like it. I think I just appreciate, someone that notices that, takes their time out of their day to like, hey, it is Veterans Day. Maybe I should thank a veteran or something like that, or like I had a client emailed me today. It was like, hey, I noticed in your signature over the last couple of times that you're a veteran, and I want to tell you Happy Veterans Day. I was like, wow.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah. That's nice. How about you, Josh? Producer Josh.
It can be a little awkward sometimes, but it's nice. Like I get a lot of texts from the family, the in-laws and stuff on today, and I don't know, it's nice, but sometimes in public it's a little awkward. But,
Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, I think we are diving into the first section of our show today. We're going to hit the benefits of the VA loan, but really, guys, stay with us through because we've got bonus topics to cover that aren't related to real estate and mortgage. And we're going to break down a lot of different discounts and things that not only cities, counties, but retail stores provide, just an open forum. So things that you might not be aware of as a veteran, or even if you're a real estate agent or a consumer that might have, a family member who's a veteran. These are good things to know and ads and be aware of, right, guys?
Absolutely. And if you're a business, maybe it's something that you want to offer out to some of the veterans and be a part of some of the benefits that you want to push out there in our communities.
Absolutely. So let's get into benefits of the VA home loan right off the bat. And it's one of my favorite loan programs. Bree, I think you and I are in that same suit where it's just incredible to give back to the service members, but it's an incredible loan program as well, right?
It's a fantastic loan program, and we actually, I think all four of us do quite a bit of veteran loans. And, zero down payment and a lot of different details to that. The loan limits, went away this last January, so there's no upper loan limit now, which means you can go above the conforming limit for a 510 right now. So a lot of different benefits. And I had a success story this year. Actually, I want to share really quick, if that's okay.
Story time.
Story time.
So I had a veteran that came back from serving overseas in July. and he had an offer of employment to start the first week of August. But he was just back from deployment. You know, he came back and did 2 weeks of quarantine. And the biggest thing was he didn't have a place to stay until the house closed, right? Coming back from the Middle East. So what we did is we actually closed the loan right on the first day of his job. So he was only out of housing for about 10 days. So that's fantastic. VA loans have a lot of flexibility. Great loans.
Yeah, that's super cool too. And I mean, with that, like, it is kind of special. You know, for one, you have the opportunity to do zero down, right? We know that there's no PMI.
That's
You
huge.
know, and just those 2 key factors alone, you know, can help you go so much further in real estate, you know, because sometimes it just holds you back. You can't afford the monthly payment, don't have the down payment. And then, like you're just saying, I've seen the success stories. I'm sure you guys have seen it too, or had one, you know, the occupancy and power of attorney. And we're just trying to pick a couple nice little benefits out of the home loan to talk about today. But, you know, that's a big one that can help people, because you got, you know, an active duty service member that can't necessarily occupy the home full time as a requirement, right? What are you going to do? I mean, it's not his fault. They allow, you know, certain cases where the spouse or family members can fulfill that requirement. That's a very cool benefit, you know? I mean, right? I mean, if we got another program out there that someone else can just jump in and kind of be you living there, let me know, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would, just to recap too, like the no PMI. Not everyone knows that you're standing for private mortgage insurance, or MI, mortgage insurance, that is used. So that's a huge thing. I mean, comparatively to, say, a conventional loan, that is going to be determined off of your credit score and your down payment, primarily like 80% of the evaluation process. But not having that at all could be a savings anywhere, just to guesstimate, you're going to save $150 on the low end, upwards to $480 per month, depending on the loan amount. Massive savings. The zero down option, I think a lot of people ask, like, oh, but if I want to put more down payment, that is definitely an option as well. And we're going to get into, as we unpacked the details of VA, the different benefits or loan related fees, how, if there's waivers or not, based on different scenarios for the veteran, right, Christian?
Yeah, Addison, if you can explain a little bit more about, you know, I know with a conventional loan and a FHA loan, there's some, you know, there's a funding fee, or, you know, with FHA, not conventional. And what a funding fee is kind of like a upfront mortgage insurance, as some people like to explain in that way, that it gives you a discounted mortgage insurance from a conventional loan.
Yeah,
You know, and then with VA, you know, that there's different criterias depending on so many different cases. Can you unpack that a little bit more?
Yeah, in regards to the mortgage insurance, first and foremost to know, like the VA, it's paid up front through a funding fee. Now, a lot of people don't know that they are actually waived from paying that or being assessed that additional fee. It's not out of pocket, guys. This typically will be rolled into your loan.
Great point.
And you're not paying it out of pocket. So huge, if you're in contract right now, just backing up as on a VA loan, we get a lot of calls, or I get a lot of inquiries on people like, oh, my closing costs are this. They look so much more expensive than what I was told. And a lot of mortgage advisors don't explain on those initial disclosures that funding fee, if applicable to your situation, shows up in there legally as a closing cost. For sure. But it's not paid out of pocket. But
If you want to, you can.
You could. But going back, it's really important to know that you are waived of it if you have a certain level of
Disability.
Disability.
If you're exempt.
So let's, as Casey being the veteran, why don't you dive into some of the disabilities, how that works, and how veterans can maybe check to see where they're at, right?
For sure, and we're going to look at it, and it's usually, I mean, we call it service-connected disability. And honestly, guys, I think a lot of veterans out there have the ability to be evaluated and see if they're rated and possibly, you know, get this benefit. But a lot of them just don't. And I know, going through the process, and I'm sure Josh will chime in too, you know, it's not just a quick walk in the park for VA benefits and stuff like that. We all know this. It's the VA healthcare system. You know, it is, you know, it's free cost, you know, there's minimal cost to veterans, right? So it's not like, you know, they're getting a lot of money coming in from the clients and stuff like that. So, you know, that's funded by the government, right? So you have to take for what it is. The VA, you know, it's not the quickest, but they're still going to look out for the best interest of the veteran. So as a vet, if you're thinking you have some type of disability, there's some kind of related injury from you being in the service, it's in your best interest just to go to your, local VA clinic and ask about how you can get a disability, evaluation or rating. And from there, you're just going to schedule and go through, that process. And maybe it does take 6 months to get through, but think about it. It is a lifetime of benefit that you could have once you're kind of there. You might have to do further requirement, every, annual, 10-year evaluations or something. But at the end of the day, this is a lifetime benefit. So I just encourage veterans out there, step one, go to your, local clinic and just get evaluated if you think you have this, because from there, you would go through a full evaluation. They're going to look at it. If you have it documented in your service record, that always helps. Or if you had medical chits along the way, that always helps. Those are kind of medical receipts, chits as we like to call them.
I know one thing, Casey, that intimidates a lot of veterans when it comes to this is the actual filling out the paperwork part of it. And you guys should just be aware that there's like a lot of organizations out there that will help you get that part done. The VFW is great. They helped me with mine. And they'll basically just sit you down in their office and help you fill out all the paperwork and get it put in for you.
God, nugget dropper from the back. This is awesome. We might have to have you mic'd in all the time.
I like that
right?
too. And so just to kind of keep that subject line going regarding the disability percentage in home loans. So let's let our veterans know if they're at what percent.
Right.
Take it away, senior.
So let's just say you've gone through that evaluation. It's done. They rated you. Minimum rating, 10%. Maximum rating, 100%. And anything in between there. For the VA funding fee and the VA home loans, you just need to have a minimum 10% rating of service-connected disability, and that funding fee is waived. And now when you do look at some of the other benefits that we might mention here, then some of those, sometimes might have a 20% rating or something like that minimum. But still, it's going to be kind of your bottom end, minimum requirements, which is great because basically if you're service-connected disability, that opens you the door to a whole realm of other benefits now. Home loan advantages, and we'll roll into this in the next, would be educational benefits, because there's some other stuff there. But coming from the top, again, veterans out there, just take the step. Like Josh mentioned, I know a lot of pushback out there. It's not easy. Yeah, you got to fill out forms. It could take 6 months. No one likes to sit there and try to go through their doctor appointment constantly, right? But guys, 10% to 100% disability could pay anywhere from what I have here, 142, up to 3,500. Obviously, if you got family, married, there's going to be some variations there. But that's some good money. I mean,
And that's additional income per month
additional
for them.
income the first of the month every month.
Yeah.
Non-taxable income.
Sorry, non-taxable income.
Well, and that income also helps with getting approved and actually opening up your budget a little bit more on the home buying side of it. But Bree and I were talking about this last week. If you are approved to get waived from that funding fee, the benefits of that are huge. Now, it's kind of like a matrix and tier level. If you're utilizing the zero down VA and it's your first time using the program, it's a 2.3% funding fee of the loan amount. So once again, as noted before, it's not out of pocket, right? It rolls into your loan. However, look at it from this standpoint, 2.3% equity saved.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, national average, I think, is about 4% of appreciation annually. So we're looking roughly 6 to 7 months in saved appreciation, saved equity, half a year closer to retirement, more money in your pocket if you ever sell the house. It's huge, guys. And that is scaling. After a first use at a zero down, it goes to 3.6 if you're not waived, right? Yeah. And if you have 5% down, you see that about cut down in half, and there's different increments. But 1 to 3%, if I can save 1 to 3%, and guys, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're talking 200,000, 300, $500,000, that's a crap load of money, right?
Yeah, guys, and even if you're at 10%, let's just call it $100, that's $1,200 extra bucks a year in your pocket. I mean, it's a little bit more than that, so it's actually more like $1,400 or $1,500 a year in your pocket. At 140, so it's like for not, having that, appointment or going through the process. I understand the frustration. I asked 100 veterans how to do stuff. It's how you just had to figure it out. There's no path for you. But if you just can go down and request, like I said, service-connected evaluation at your local clinic, hospital. They'll be able to set you up. It's worth the time, guys. It's trust me, it's worth the time.
One of the biggest things that I really enjoy about the VA loan program too is it's really designed to put the veteran in a winning situation when it comes to their long-term overhead.
Yeah.
There's other back-end evaluations and catch-alls, if you will, from an underwriting and guideline standpoint, where they're going to consider how many family members are living in the house, how many mouths do we need to feed, what's the utility average going to be. These are things that aren't done for other loan programs. Now, does the home buyer and home seller feel those extra checks on the box? Absolutely not. It does rarely. It's never come up in my career on it, but I still find that really fantastic because I know every single client that gets in on a VA loan, it's been well structured for them to be long-term successful with their finances, right, Bree?
Yeah, and I've gotten in the last several years a lot of real estate agents, especially listing agents, call and say, here's a pre-approval for a veteran. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I've heard they take 45 to 60 days to close, that the sellers have to pay a bunch of fees, and that they're really messy and hard to get a good appraisal. That potentially was the case about 15, 20 years ago. And that's how some of that kind of, feeling about those loans came about. But that is not the case any longer. And it hasn't been the case for some time now. And, I know in the last several months, just here recently, I've closed loans and VA loans in 25 and less days. And appraisals, I had an appraisal back that just came back in 4 days from the VA. All wonderful. Flying. And they actually, I had to call them directly and they made a big push and helped that a lot. So, the sellers don't pay any fees unless there's a flood certification and flood insurance that needs, and there's some additional fees for that. Other than that, there are no other seller paid fees that there used to be. That's gone away. So it is a fantastic loan for veterans. They're usually well-qualified buyers and they close.
One of the biggest things that we've been doing to stay very competitive, Christian, when it comes to purchase business on VA, because it can be, with that misperception that Bree just broke down, it can be more challenging unless you're working with a team of people that's an advocate for the program, that takes that time to reach out to the sellers, works with the real estate agents.
Knows you can call the appraiser.
Knows you can
call appraiser.
You can reach out to people and confirm things. Yes, I hear what you're saying. You can't talk about value just to be compliant.
No, it's not like we're sitting there
compliantly fair there, but
one of the only programs you can.
Correct. And sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
And messing them up.
Advocate toward the program, right? What was I saying? Help me out. I just
basically it for loan officers like myself that's not a veteran, it gives me an opportunity to be an advocate for our veterans that have sacrificed a lot for me, myself, my family. And so it's extra important for me to get that win, for them. And so yes, we're advocates. We're talking to the listing agent, letting them know how qualified they are, and that this is a veteran, and hopefully that will adhere to the hearts of that seller, that a veteran wants to get in there, that they're well qualified, that they have all their docs in and everything. And that's even more important to serve a veteran in this. They're the ones that have all their stuff together. Typically they're the easier transactions. And the nice thing about the veteran loans is it protects the veterans. We got safety and sound issues in there to make sure that the appraiser goes out there, they're checking extra things to make sure that it's perfect. It's turnkey for the clients. They want them to be able to just get in there and not have to deal with stuff because they're already dealing with a ton of other things going on in their lives. So that's why I love the loan so much. And like you said, the underwriting process is a little bit different. We're going off some different criteria, which makes more sense. I wish more loans were about the true nitty-gritties of how they structure it. So it's a phenomenal program. But back to your point is, yes, advocating for the veteran. It is my duty, as a loan officer to really get out there and talk to the listing agents, let them know, hey, this is going to be easy transaction. This is where turn times are. This is, yes, I can meet this close date.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. I had my thought together there. Well, one of the things that Christian and I have done in the past is because it's a zero down. Some of the misperception actually is that they don't have any money, which is not the case.
No.
And as long as I get consent from my veteran, I will actually reach out and I will demonstrate assets. So I will show the sellers, look, we have X amount of dollars in savings, retirement, and as long as the veteran gives me the consent to do that and demonstrate SNPs or documentation, I can show, look, we could do 20% down, but they earned this program. So it's not going to change anything.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with what the down payment is for them, because that is their benefit of the VA loan, is to have an option for a zero down payment with no mortgage insurance and still have a benefit of a low interest rate that's less than conforming. And that's what we are providing for our veterans out there right now. And it's exciting. This is an exciting time for getting our clients out there, because we are going to get out there and be an advocate, like you said, and demonstrate how awesome these loans are for our home buyers out there.
Yeah, and back to Bree's point with the appraisal, I find it so ironic that with all the refinances going on, non-related to VA, actually appraisals in our area, the Pacific Northwest, have been slower. But the VA sets standards. 10 business days, property must be inspected. And the VA is the only loan program that has their own management system for the approved VA appraisers. So they're making sure there's managers making sure hut too, let's get it done, this, that. And I've seen throughout this year, VA's actually been not only very consistent on getting the reports back, they are starting to be quicker than some of the appraisers out there, Bree.
Super quick. And, and also it's nice to have that program that you can actually call the appraiser directly, because, like Addison and Casey said, we can't call appraisers for legality, but on VA loans we can, just to talk about, hey, for example, I had somebody recently who was really concerned about appraiser going in because of COVID, and they had elderly parents in the house, and they were really concerned about that, and so the appraiser, we called them in advance and said, hey, what extra precautions can you take when you're doing this inspection? So it is really nice to have that one-on-one with them. But and also the VA loan has a lot more flexibility than I think often it gets credit. It doesn't get enough credit for. The debt to income ratio is higher. So if you've, co-signed loans for anybody and have some extra debt or anything on there, there's higher debt to income ratio that the VA loan will go to, and it goes down to a really low credit score. So, but what I found is, and just to go off of what Addison said, that, most of the time these families have funds and they have ability to put down, but there's no benefit to them to put more down unless they personally want a lower monthly payment. The interest rates are one of the lowest interest rates on a loan program that you can get for both VA and FHA loans. So to have the lowest interest rate and no money down, and unless the veteran says, hey, I want to specifically lower my monthly payment, there's no benefit in that loan to do so. So it's great to have assets, but it should definitely not be looked at by a seller or by a listing agent or anyone as a less than. It's an absolute benefit and a fantastic loan.
Yeah,
For sure. Preach it.
too.
Preach it.
I know Casey and I have been huge on trying to educate at least our local community and not shying away from calling those selling agents and telling our buyers agents that we work with, like, no, this is what it's like. And Casey and I will take extra time with agents to explain it and be more in detail and talk about different ways that it's a quality loan and a great program to support.
And you're going to be surprised, like me and Addie have seen it happen when you're talking to a listing agent, let's just say, to let them know, hey, here's the client situation going, and you're letting them know. It's their right and their benefit, because they served their country, to not have to put money down. And that's what people forget about this situation. It has nothing to do with them being, poor or less of a lower income because they get zero down. Like, they served their country, they fought for our rights and our freedoms, and that's why they get that benefit. That's plain and simple. Amen, right? And then, but it's the other things that, like Addie and we do as a team, to support that veteran, because sometimes listing agents don't know, an appraisal for a VA. That appraiser is one of the only appraisers that will call a listing agent if they think maybe the value is going to come in lower, and ask them to provide comps, to justify that. There's other tactics in there that people forget about that benefit everybody in the real estate transaction, right? So
yeah, we get
that's what
heads
we're here
up,
for.
the Tidewater criteria definitely helps out our veterans know or help renegotiate the contract. So
Right.
they're looking to make sure that the veterans not, getting overpriced on that house. They want to make sure it's coming in. So, but ultimately, I think that our communities know that, VA loans means that criteria of them taking too long. I think that's kind of out of the water now. People want to help out the veterans. I think more veterans are going to win more bidding wars. This is a great time for a veteran to get out there because we can use that. Let us help you earn that home. Let us go to work for you. We do work for you, and that's our job, to get out there, talk to the real estate agents, let them know why they should be selling to you, even though you may have a less of a bid. I mean, you sacrifice for our country. Let's help out our veterans. And that's something that we portray when we were making those phone calls. We may not be the highest bid, but we have a qualified buyer. They're awesome. Here's their family. Let's help them out. And I'm supporting them, and hopefully they'll support you too. Excuse me.
I would just say, yeah, I mean, I don't think the entire community is very well educated. I'm gonna have to disagree. I've talked to so many agents that just have no clue. Like people that have been doing it for 30 years. I just had one last month called and explained she had no idea. She was still subscribed to the misperceptions. Yeah. So I know, man, we want to be positive, but I still think whatever mortgage advisor you're working for, if you're a veteran, whether it's us or someone else,
Right.
they got to get on that phone and explain, remove the doubt.
I can tell you this much. I use it. I pull at the heartstrings. I do everything I can, but because I believe in the program, and we should be, us here at home, we should be helping out our veterans,
You can always do one better, and work with a veteran themselves.
That's right.
That does home loans. And that'd be me, guys.
I like your plug.
Well, on that note, could you kind of transition us into a little bit of the educational benefits that you were speaking to? Because that's something that you and Josh are going to be able to give some great insight to, right, Case?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that was a long kind of segment there we had. So, before we go into that, I want anyone that's jumping on right now, you guys are listening to the MLO podcast and live show that we got going on. We're talking about VA home loans and some of these additional fun benefits that veterans have and active duty military members. And it being Veterans Day, we got a couple vets here locally right here in the studio, and myself, yours truly, Casey Carpenter, being a Navy vet, go Navy all day, and our other guy, there he is, our MLO producer, Josh Billups, and he is our Army vet. But we just appreciate all of our brothers and sisters that have served the country. And
Hey, Casey, I was curious. Do we have a VIP line?
We do got a VIP line, and if you guys want to shoot in your questions, we are more than happy to answer them and talk about them. We promise we won't joke about them. Maybe we might. I don't know. And how do you do that? What's that number?
You got the 503-847.
30.
Oh, it's not
Oh God!
Unbelievable.
80. No.
90.
90.
9038.
Let's do that again. We got a 503.
847.
90.
38.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if you want to hit us up on that VIP line, everyone, we are here to support via text, direct message, or phone call. We've even had somebody reach out that's trying to get their mortgage advisor license, their MLO license. Yeah,
Nice.
Reach out. I won't name names, but super nice guy was wanting us to do an episode on helping him pass the test. I was like, well, we're kind of here to help home buyers.
I got one right here. Always 3 days, man. Whatever the answer, just always go with 3 days, dude. You're good to go.
But we're here to help you if you're considering buying, selling, or refinancing. That's an incredible resource, and it's been a pleasure to assist people and work with clients
so cool to hear that.
on that route. You're liking that one,
I
aren't
love
you?
that, dude. I wish I'd have VIP hotline to call when I was taking my test. I was sweating bullets in that thing.
You're cracking me up today,
Sorry.
Mr. Carpenter.
All right. Let's swing it back in, though. Again, VA home loan and extra benefits. We're going to roll into educational benefits. This is a huge one, guys. And we were just talking about that service-connected disability, 10% to 100% rating. So that can swing into play on some other stuff. It really does open additional benefit doors for you. But just educational benefits. And I'll tell you a little story time, me.
There we go.
I was sitting there in the Navy.
Navy.
In the Navy.
Sorry.
I know, it's so hard, I know. And I was 19. I didn't know. And I was sitting there in the room, and we're getting our heads shaved. Everybody's looking exactly the same. And they take us in there asking about benefits, signing you up for benefits. And you're literally just rushed through this stuff like a cattle line kind of thing. And it was like, hey, if you want to do, educational benefits, they'll take, whatever, $100 out of your paycheck for the first year, and it buys you in your program. And everybody started raising their hands. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I want all my money, right? And I'm like, but I'm not going to be the guy that didn't raise my hand. So I raised my hand. And thankfully I did, guys, because I bought in. And they might do it different now. But just if you have the opportunity to get educational benefits while you're in the service, or you're looking at reserves right now, please look at that. Please take advantage, because I'll start to explain how they can really open the door for you.
Well, and Casey there, just touch on that.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like you're talking about the Montgomery GI Bill, which now with the post 9/11 bill, they no longer take money out of your check for that.
Nice.
It's an earned benefit that you get just for serving.
See,
Boom.
there it is. I love this. I love this backstage mic. This is great.
Already making us money.
Already
Making
making
the veterans money.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a better deal now than what I got. So I like that. And this GI Bill though, guys. So you got it. You were talking. It can get you up to 36 months of education benefits. That's 3 years. That's a big deal. And when we're going through the program, I mean, it's so amazing because, one, they're going to give you some money that can allow you to live off of, so a housing allowance. So one for an individual, for a family member, that is great. And we're not going to go into all the details, guys, on like how that's calculated and all the factors, but just know that you get a housing allowance too. Biggest number one factor is they're paying for your in-state tuition,
Gotcha.
and expenses, and that is the big catch right there. I mean, that's the big benefit factor. They pay for the cost of the tuition. Now, if it's out of state or if it's private and stuff like that, there's obviously going to probably be some adjustments, but just know that, let's just say the schooling's paid for, and now you're also paid housing allowance, monthly allowance to go to school. So not only is your school being paid for, you're also being paid to go to school. You do have to have good
fantastic.
grades too. It's not like you can just fail out and they just keep paying for you guys. Like, keep the C's.
You gotta keep the
the
grades.
C average. You floated the C's, keep the C going.
That sounds like my dad during college.
Yeah, I got C's for Casey Carpenter.
And you and Josh both went through that.
Josh, did you knock out the GI Bill?
I used a little bit of the GI Bill. I mostly did the voc rehab thing. Two important things to know on the GI Bill. So from the date that you exit the military, you have 12 years to claim that benefit through the VA. After 12 years, if you haven't filed for it, you lose it.
Let me see ya.
Even
Let me
if
see
you're
you
not
on the
going to
mic.
use it right away, make sure you claim it, because some of you can transfer that to your wife or children if you need to.
Look at that. Nuggets.
God, that's a
Hitting
good
with the
one.
Nuggets.
Also, another thing is on that housing allowance, you need to be aware that that does not pay during holiday breaks. So you need to budget for that.
Josh he knows all the details of that. He's like, dude, they got me on this one. mark
Right,
that
so there's
down.
going to be 4 times a year. If
Yeah.
you're going to be expected to go to school full time. That includes summer. Sorry, guys, you're not a teenager. You're not going to Cancun. So you need to
full-time.
make sure that you budget that you're going to lose at least 2 weeks of pay 4 times a year.
Dude,
Wow.
look at
That's
him.
real good.
Nailed it.
Well,
But
and if-
he's- oh, go for it.
I was just gonna hop in. If you're jumping in right now, we're talking about the VA loan, and we're in the bonus covers section right
Yes.
now, where we're getting exclusive insight not only from Casey Carpenter but producer Josh, both veterans here, giving us insight on ways veterans can take advantage of some benefits out there. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
I love that. So it's let's if you have the opportunity to do education benefits, any part of that, we were just talking about Montgomery and post 9/11 GI Bills. Do that, please. If
There are some programs now that allow you to roll your Montgomery GI Bill into the 9/11. You would have to talk to a VA consultant about that. It sounds a little complicated for me, but it is possible, and it is a better program for a lot of people.
There you go.
yeah, and it's a good program. But the point is, it's 36 months coverage. What if I wanted to get a bachelor degree, guys? Well, what does that normally take me? 4 years, right? So we got kind of a hang up there. Either what you can do is one like Josh said, you can pack it up and cram it out, and you're going to knock that out in 3 years. Or even like me, I went to community college to start with.
MCC.
MHCC, dude,
Oh,
Mount Hood
MH,
Community,
yeah.
Mount Hood Community College. Go Saints! And it's like I didn't know that the first associate degree that I was getting. I got an entrepreneurship and small business management, but then had a finance degree and was like, dang, I want a finance, bachelor in finance. I love finance. And I hated numbers before. It's so weird. How do I do it? Josh made a great point. There's another program out there, and if you do, a big requirement, you have to have service-connected disability. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're not getting this program without having it. So that's why that's a big factor.
Get that done.
This is called vocational rehabilitation program. Okay, and this program is not catered for a veteran and really, going to school. It's more catered to putting a veteran in a career, putting a veteran back to work, helping a veteran establish, employment if they can't via disability, injury, whatever that may be.
That can be such an important transition, particularly if you're coming back from active service.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, great point. And that's and you never know someone's disability or their injury, right? And how that keeps them from doing stuff, right? Because it could be everything. Your brain, leg, limb. It's all different and relates to different work. What was amazing about the program, but it does have the requirements: service-connected disability, and you can't have a job, right? Because the programs that put you into work. It's not to upgrade you from your current job; it's to put you into work. Now, though, the beauty of it is you get assigned this person, and this is I like to call them a special, but it's a vocational rehabilitation, specialist. It's assigned to you, like a counselor almost, but they're there to help you. They're going to guide you and set you up on a plan, right? What works for you. So you're not at this alone. Now all of a sudden you have like a support system, like it's almost a mentor. I love that word. It's a mentor.
They get you through the process.
Get you through the process. Now, though, they are going to evaluate you. So, guys, if we're trying to get in there and fool
Physically or mentally?
a little bit of both. Okay. Yeah, you get a little bit of both, because you do kind of test. You're gonna do some basic testing, math, reading, writing, stuff like that. So if you're trying to get in this program, guys, just to like fake it and keep school going and pull the Van Wilder for 13 years, they might catch it, maybe not. And it's like once they do figure out. The beauty about this is if you have the vocational rehabilitation benefits, now you can choose, do you want, what are you looking to do? You want to be a diesel mechanic? Then they're going to look at trade school, setting you up on that path, right? And going down that, and whatever it takes to get you to that career, whether that be trade schools and associates and then a bachelor, then that's the plan we're setting up, right? Or if I wanted to be a doctor, like I wanted to be a doctor and that was my path and I could kind of make that work after my checkout, we're setting it up on that path, and they would take you to a doctorate. So it's not about length of time of school covered. It's about what you need to do to get into your career. And that's what's a almost amazing thing I've ever come across on a program, right? Because it's not specific. And then, for me, I wanted to be, in the finance field, whether that was financial advisor, CPA, mortgage broker. It took a bachelor's. We set that up. And I continued on from Mount Hood for the next year and a half to Portland State, finished it out, wham, bam. That person was there to guide me along the way.
It's fantastic.
It's such a great program, guys. It really is. And then with that, it's very similar to that GI Bill where you are paid monthly again, too. They do have monthly housing allowance. So, again, school's being paid for. You're getting paid to go to work. Books and supplies are getting paid for. Parking tickets, stuff like that, guys. I mean, it really helps a veteran set themselves up. I mean, walking out, you could be student loan, free.
That's awesome. So we got the educational benefits, we got the mortgage benefits, obviously, and then we have some additional benefits that
kind of the fun ones.
Some of our, community has provided for our veterans. Do you want to speak on that a little bit and give some nuggets and tidbits?
I want to kind of maybe play a guessing game. Like, what's one out there you guys have heard about? Like, what's a
Lowe's and Home Depot.
Lowe's, he nails it. Lowe's, Home Depot.
You can call your credit card companies and ask for them to lower your interest rate. And if you're deployed, they will likely go to 0% on the interest rate while you're deployed.
I'm writing that down.
Wow.
Thank you to my cousin Heather for that one.
Heather.
Who's a veteran,
Heather.
and her husband, Nathan. Yes.
I didn't know that one. That's fantastic.
I might be incorrect, but I believe that when you're deployed, they're not allowed to charge you interest.
That's
That
right.
would be 0%. That's awesome.
Yeah. And
Thank you, Josh.
same thing. Also with storage units, if you're deployed and you accidentally miss a couple payments, they are not allowed to lock up your storage unit.
They can't
and
auction
it
your
off.
They can't auction your stuff off.
What about no fee for checked bags when you're flying?
See, these are good ones that like I didn't even know. I just like constantly hit the same ones that I like to knock off. And like mine, again, guys, service connected disability still opens the door for other benefits.
Yeah.
You can get a disabled veteran license plate for one of your vehicles, but this license plate does not require tags anymore.
Yeah,
Done
no
with
tags.
tags. So you got a vehicle, that you need that. You throw that on, but it's just the beauty of having that. You have insignia plates, right? Josh can have his Army plate. I can have my Navy plate. And then when you come into, like you just said, for your store benefits, typically I think it's about 10%, maybe 15 in some places. But always ask, because you never know. Your Lowe's, your Home Depot. I mean, gosh, I go in there, a couple $100, 10% off. It's cool.
National parks. That was one we were talking about earlier.
National parks.
Just Lowe's for a second is my favorite because you set it up online and then it's attached to your email.
So you don't have to say it every time.
Right, so you just punch in your phone number or whatever when you
Perfect.
get there, and you don't have to be like, "Hey, do you give me a military
Yeah, that's
discount?"
kind of cool.
I just flip it out like FBI. I got my bam. I don't even say anything. I do that.
He's got it on the
Stone Cold
hanger on
look.
his
Yeah,
belt.
the Stone Cold. They're like, all right.
For those looking for a little vacation and not wanting to spend hopefully too much money for it, there are special military resorts in Germany, Florida, and Hawaii that will allow their military and families to stay there for a very minimal cost.
Looks like we're going to Germany. That Germany one's pretty fun. I'm going to Germany.
The next show is international.
And on that note, Bree, like I do recall last year they opened up base privileges to disabled veterans. So that allows disabled veterans that previously, because base privileges are usually reserved for 100% disability and retired personnel. So now disabled personnel can go on a base. They can go to the MWR, which is the, what is that, morale?
MWR.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. You can rent RVs. You can go rent a boat, like for like $10 a day. And you can go use the PX and the commissary, which is all tax-free shopping. Doesn't matter a lot to us in Oregon, but if you're up in Washington or down in California, that's a huge, huge win.
That's wonderful. You ask everywhere you go. You absolutely deserve that benefit. Ask, ask, ask.
For sure, guys. And kind of we'll wrap it up here, but there's a couple also financial, insurance, and banking benefits, you have as military members or veterans. We're talking, I'm talking USAA, I'm talking Navy Federal Banking, stuff like that. There's also other ones out there, so you can look at that because that can also, open the door to some different stuff there. And a couple other nuggets we're not going to go into, but there is some property tax benefits out there. If you are disabled, and these are higher levels, but you can look at having reduced property taxes. That is a big, additional benefit.
Is that state or county by county? State by state? I think it's county. Right? Yeah.
It's county, and you need to make sure you call in. It's another process. This isn't just happening overnight. But again, guys, saving you money, and that's that's what we're just trying to do here today is just save money, and tell you guys benefits. So veterans out there, Full Circle, VA Home Loans, MLO podcast.
right.
We're talking benefits and resources, and basically for me, it's just get out there and start the process.
Yeah.
And we always say this, right? Start the conversation about your mortgage. It's the same thing. Start the conversation about your disability benefits, your educational benefits. All these things will help you. I mean, I probably just listed off $1,000 a month in savings for veterans. I mean, you think about it. I mean, we just nailed stuff. So
There's
it's
a
like,
lot.
game on, brothers and sisters.
Game on.
Well, and in conclusion on the benefits too, I know like MLO is offering some interest rate discounts, particularly this week to anyone that are locking loans on refinances or purchase, and people want to be out there to help the veterans. And I'm really glad we took the time to kind of go through not only real estate and mortgage benefits, but some just day-to-day benefits. And gosh golly, we had Josh. I know you like that. You've smiled more this episode
I know,
than
it's
I've
so
seen.
much fun. It's just like chiming in. It's like kind of felt like Wizard of Oz a little bit. He comes in from the top, and it's like it's good stuff, dude. I loved it.
Well, and let's kind of close it out
Yeah.
and do our little exit and out, wouldn't you say? So pop the music, Mr. Josh. I'd like to remind everyone, Bree, who do they need to call if they've got questions regarding not only VA, FHA, conventional loans, jumbo loans, anything? Who are they going to call?
Call MLO.
We
Who
got
else
that.
would you call?
MLO.
It's past Halloween. We're not calling Ghostbusters.
That's right. That
No,
is
we're not.
true. And Kempers, we got that special phone number they can hit us at, right?
Yeah, I got the easy one, 503.
847.
90.
38.
We got it right that time. Hit us up on the number. Call, text anytime. You can get a hold of all of us, and we enjoy assisting and being more of a support and a resource to anyone, even outside of our current market. I would like to remind everyone today, we do everything in our best interest and trying to help people, but a lot of these loan programs get with your mortgage advisor, whether it's us or other people, because they're program specific to credit guidelines. You might be listening to this in 2021 and not 2020, and things might have changed. So
Right, for sure.
just gotta
Same with those benefits too. We talked about, right?
yeah, those might change, right, Christian?
Everyone,
correct.
you just have the conversation, see if you qualify.
Just
Yeah.
reach back in. We're always here to support.
Touchy touch, check in. And if you are just watching us, get on our podcast, right, Casey?
Absolutely. If you're watching, you got to listen. And if you're listening, you got to watch.
Yeah, we're on all them wherever you get your podcasts. We're there. We're hitting it up. And let's do our out. And you guys have been listening to MLO. And until next time, we're going to catch you later. And thank you again to all the service members out there. Happy
Yeah.
Veterans.
Happy
Amen.
Veterans
Thank you,
Day.
veterans.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is this a new jam?